How can we find her? What can we do? I put my IG in the chat.
Perfect.
And my website. So y'all can keep, whoever comes after this will keep scrolling.
Perfect. So we are going to go ahead and get started. YouTube should be up and running and live now.
Says it's live.
Perfect. Cool. So this is my first time actually being live on YouTube as well. So sorry for the kinks and everything, but thank you. We are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you everybody that signed up. Thank you for everyone that is on this webinar.
I put my IG in the chat.
Perfect. Rachel put her IG and her email. I'm sorry, her IG and her website in the chat. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Danielle J. Smallwood. I am a licensed realtor in PA. I'm also a mobile notary as well. But I wanted to do this webinar because Rachel and I, we share the same type of passion in regards to helping.
Is it gonna keep doing it?
I'm sorry. I think, all right, we should be good.
Okay.
All right, we good. I'm sorry. But we share the same common interest as far as helping our community financially and providing information and allowing them to be financially stable. I do have a background in finance. I have a college degree in finance, actually. So, you know, my passion is finance. I know numbers. I'm good with numbers. But my passion is also educating my community and helping them and helping individuals to be in a better situation financially and mentally. So we do have Rachel Hannibal, personal finance coach, as well as Amazon top-selling author on the webinar, just to give some tips to help us during this time. I'm not sure if anyone, you know, really expected this to happen or was prepared for this to happen. I know I didn't expect for it to happen, but I was prepared for it to happen. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be this. Or, you know, what exactly it would be. But just, you know, being in the real estate industry for some time now, you know, I knew some changes were going to happen. So Rachel, you can go ahead and take it away and do your thing.
Okay. You need me to put, I'm trying to put my video on. It won't let me do it.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can do it for you. There we go. We see you now.
Hey. How are you all? Thank you again, Danielle, for having me on our webinar for tonight. And you're right, everything that you said, we share a common passion for making sure we are educating our people on just the information they need to know on what's going on now and what may be, you know, coming up in the future. And so we've done a few of these together and they've all been great. And so I was really excited when prepping for this one. Quickly about me. Let me just give a little small introduction for anyone who has not met me before. Hi, all my new friends. I am Rachel Hannibal. I am the founder of Missing Peace Financial Group. I am a personal finance coach, and I'm also an accountant during the day. But yes, I am the author of Amber's Magical Savings Box, which is an interactive children's book that teaches kids earning and saving money. It has become #1 on Amazon for educational children's books about money, but also available Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, everywhere books are sold. But mainly what I do with Missing Peace Financial Group is I have one-on-one finance sessions with individuals, and I also travel and teach children about money as well. A wide range of topics. We teach them about credit. We teach them about investing. We teach them about budgeting, just a little bit of everything. And so my personal journey I grew up in a not so wealthy neighborhood, to say the least. Struggling. That's the word I use, struggling. But I decided to become completely debt-free, including my student loans. I was able to save up a year's worth of income in cash. And I just got my credit score new numbers today, and I'm at 840.
Nice.
So basically what I've been doing is basically helping other people reach their short-term or long-term financial goals, just offering the same tips and tools and steps and information and inspiration that I use to check off those financial goals for myself. I now offer that to individuals. And before I forget, my website is rachelhannibal.com. But I have put together some special tips for tonight's webinar. And going through this pandemic, and as Danielle said, a lot of us, most of us, none of us were expecting quite this. Those who are in the financial world, we knew something was coming. We knew that we need to prep for something. And then this happened, which was a bigger than we expected, right? A balloon version of what we thought.
Exactly. Hold on, we lost you.
Are dealing with now, just calling their lenders or their creditors, because everyone's offering, or most people are offering special terms with their loans and with their bills, monthly payments and things like that. And so one of the first things you want to do when you are calling these people for these special terms that are going on for COVID-19, make sure that you ask them how your either missed payment or late payment or delayed payment will be reported on your credit report. How will it be reported to your credit bureaus? This is a very important question to ask, because they only have control over whether they cut you off or whether they evict you or whether they, whatever. That's all they have control over. But they don't have control over necessarily how it's going to affect your credit in the future if they report that you missed a payment or you had a late payment to the credit bureaus. You need to ask that question. You need to take the 3 minutes to specifically ask that question. And the second part to that is anything they say on the phone, make sure you get it in writing. Make sure you get it in writing. Even if you have to go to their website, they may have a COVID-19 frequently asked questions page on their site. I know a lot of businesses are doing that to kind of cut down on the questions people calling in. Even if you need to take a screenshot or those things, you need to make sure you have everything concerning this pandemic or the finances around this in writing. You are going to need that in the future. Whether it is to dispute something on your credit, whether I already have 4 of my clients who ran into situations where the same thing, they were told you don't have to make a payment for the next 60 days or whatever their special terms they are offering. Next thing I know, they wake up with a hit on their credit and they're calling me because they didn't ask that question. Take the moment to ask that question. Also take a moment to get it all in writing. Unfortunately, we have the situation where a lot of people are just saying anything to get you off the phone, because you got to think about it. These guys are getting hundreds of calls a day, and the terms and things and news and all that is changing every day too. So sometimes they're not even able to keep up to date with everything that's going on. So there's a possibility that the information that they give you may not be accurate or may not be up to date. Mm-hmm. Okay, and your number one priority needs to be to protect yourself. And we're going to go dig in a little bit deeper with protecting yourself in 2 minutes. But to go beyond that, call them, get information in detail, make sure you get it in writing, ask them what their special terms are. Also, pay whatever you can. Even if they say, listen, you don't have to pay us for 90 days, okay? Still try to pay them anything that you can, because worst case scenario, you'll at least show as you won't break up your payment history. If you've been paying every month, if you've been paying one time, at least if you pay something, you will still have something recorded as your consistency with your payment history, which we know is the bulk of your credit score. You know what I mean? Your payment history, making sure you're paying things consistently every month, paying something. So anything that you may have that's extra coming in, even if they say you don't have to pay anything, I encourage you all to try to pay something. Set something aside in a budget to pay something. All right. Does anyone have any questions or anything I'm talking? You can kind of just blur them out. I don't want to go too fast.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, definitely feel free to put them in the chat. And Rachel, you know, as the questions come in, I'll read them all to you so you can.
Thank you. Okay, so the next thing I said we were going to dig into deeper about protecting yourself. This is huge. Well, this is always huge around tax time, but it's even bigger now because we have so many people are losing their jobs. So many people are at risk of losing just a lot. And so identity theft is always higher around tax time, but it's much higher now. So you need to lock your credit. You need to freeze your credit. And it's most of the 3 credit bureaus, for the most part, you can do them online. You can just go on their website. There is a link where you can say, there's a page where it says freeze my credit or lock my credit, or you can just call them. TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, you can just call them and say, listen, I want to put a hold or put a freeze on my credit. And let me explain what that means. That means that no one can have access to your credit file. No one can get credit in your name. No one can get a card in your name. No one can take out a loan in your name or you know, get a utility bill in your name. Okay, unless they have a particular code. You have to use this code to unlock your own credit. Okay, so they're going to give you a 4-digit code, and hopefully you keep it something that you remember. Don't let it be your birthday, because everybody's going to guess that. Scammers, for the most part, have your birthday probably. So don't use your birthday, but let it be something that you remember, because again, a year from now, 2 years from now, when you are going to meet with Danielle to buy your home or your investment property or whatever it may be, you're going to have to unfreeze or unlock your credit before you step into that process. And so you want to make sure you remember that 4-digit code. Do the same for your children. If you have a child that's under 17, you can lock and freeze their credit as well. Okay, you can protect them from identity theft, which again is always high around tax time because people are claiming their children, their, you know, social security numbers, information is kind of just out there. It's in someone's file cabinet now. It's in whoever you decide to do your taxes this year. They have this paper trail with your baby's name and all this information on it. You can protect your child. And the scammers get away with this for a long period of time because most people don't know that there's something in their kid's name and they don't check until 18, 19, or whenever it is they go do their first whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, by then, who knows? They probably got away with murder by then. Right? So you want to take steps to protect yourself. It takes a good 20 minutes. We're all sitting at home. This is one of the most important things you can do right now. Protect yourself and protect your children. I saw a question.
Yep. So the question is, I haven't filed my taxes yet because I was waiting on one document. Then the lockdown happened. Is it possible for me to do my own taxes?
Yes, you can do your own taxes, and the deadline is extended to June 15th, I believe. I believe that we extended it. So April 15th is no longer a tax day. So we moved it up to June. We gave them a little bit more time to get your taxes done. So if you want to do it yourself, sure. Or if you want to wait until we are open to the public, until the outside opens back up, which may be, you know, beginning of May, mid-May, you still have until June 15th to get someone else to do the taxes. So it's up to you of what you decide. All right. Is that the only question?
Yeah, only question so far.
All right. Another thing you want to do is switch to your emergency budget. So one of the main things that I do with a lot of my clients is we create a budget that they, you know, it gets them towards their, whatever their goals are. But we also, behind the scenes, sometimes without them knowing, I create an emergency budget for them. And it's just a little in case something happens, or I do this a lot for married couples. I will create behind the scenes an emergency budget that, what if one spouse loses their job or something happens to one spouse, I will create something, kind of hold it in my files. And when I get that phone call, I'm like, oh, I already created a budget for that. So I do the same for my clients, where we have the emergency budget is what we call the noodle budget. It's just basically essentials only. And if it's one thing this lockdown, our jail time has shown us, is understanding the difference between needs and wants, right? That's one thing that's really clear right now. Is this a need or is this a want? Because a lot of things we thought were needs, we're making along pretty fine without it. So,
right.
Right? So take this opportunity to be able to just kind of like nail down what are the needs, what are just our wants. You need reliable transportation. You want a Lexus. There's a difference. You need good food to nourish your body. You want a state. There's a difference.
Right.
So understanding the difference between the two categories and nailing that budget down to needs only, essentials only, emergency budget. All right. The big thing now, stimulus checks. Okay. Some people getting some money. All right. Most people probably get some money. What should you do with it? You should save it for emergencies. That is the number one and the only answer. You should save it for emergencies. Okay. Now, your emergency could be, I need to pay, I'm behind on this, or I'm behind on that. Then that is your emergency. Use that money to pay for your whatever it is that you may be behind on, that you need to pay. Rent, mortgage, food, your children don't have food. That is your emergency. But if you have all those things that are emergencies already covered, you need to open up a separate account, savings account. No savings should be in your checking account. They're called two different things for a reason, okay? Shouldn't have savings in your checking account. So if you don't have a separate savings account, open it up while you wait. And as soon as that money comes, put it right in a savings account, let it sit there. And I'm gonna tell you why. In a lot of cases, we're just at the beginning of this, okay? There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna change going forward. The money we pay, the amount we pay for bread today is going to change. The amount we pay for eggs and milk today is going to change. A lot of things in our economy, in our world, in our personal finances is going to shift. And so you want to be prepared, because we don't know. Right. We don't know. We're waking up to new news every day. We don't know. And so the best thing you want to do is have that peace of mind, have that extra layer, have that extra cushion of, just in case I have this. So that is the only thing you should do with your stimulus check. Anything that's an emergency, use it for that. If it's not, save it for when emergency comes. All right, any questions on that part? I think we're almost done towards the end of the tip. So you guys can throw, if you have questions just in general, feel free to ask me, okay? And I don't know everything, but I'll do what I can.
Right.
I'll tell you what I know. You have anything, Danielle, you want me to?
No, I mean, so basically what you said so far, just to talk about what I've been doing, basically what you said so far is what basically I've done. I've cut back. I'm only doing like needs specifically. Like even like Hulu, even though it was only $5, I cut it. Like I'm only doing needs, and really just trying to, keep the cash that I have on hand rather than spending it or putting it somewhere else. Even though I could put it somewhere else, but still it's just like you said, we don't know how bad or if it'll even badly impact us like severely. We don't know what type of impact this situation will have, so it's better to have of course as much cash as you can and to cut back as much as you can. I've cut back personally, as well as some of my business expenses I've cut back as well. If it's not a necessity in business, I just cut it off basically. If it's not a necessity personally, I cut it off. So it's just best to have, as much cash as you can and to save as much as you can, even whether it be now, but also in the future as well. Because again, history repeats itself. So this will happen again. We don't know when, but it definitely will happen again. So it's just best to be prepared as much as possible. That's one rule that I live by. Preparation is key. So it's just best to be, prepared as much as possible and think of all the outcomes that could happen, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Of course, we want all good things to happen, but that's not necessarily how life works. So it's best to always prepare for the worst. And again, we're hoping for good, but it's best to always prepare for the worst. No matter what the situation is. So we do have a question. It says, I do not have a credit card, and after the lockdown has lifted, I want to obtain one. Which credit card is best to have, or what bank is good to go with? Credit union to go with, credit union or regular financial institution. I also want to invest in a car. I am so over public transportation.
So if you don't have any credit cards at all, I always say to people, go to Capital One for people in that situation, because they have a wide range of credit cards for different scenarios. They have credit cards for people who don't have credit at all. They have cards for people who have really bad credit and you're rebuilding it. Like, once you go onto their site, Capital One, they'll have like the green card is for this credit score range, and the red card is for this, and they're really clear about it. I like it because it kind of takes the guessing out of if my score is high.
We lost your audio a little bit.
Whereas other cards, there's more of a guessing game that is not doesn't always help us, because we'll get denied and that hurt us even more. So I like going to Capital One, but if you have a credit unions you can do too. They have secured credit cards or regular credit cards that you can apply for. If you already have a relationship with them, you probably will get approved if you already have a relationship with them. And this is a good time to get a card. You don't have to wait until it's lifted. You can call them. You can go on their site. You can do the live chat. You don't have to wait until all this is lifted. This is actually a really good time to either get a credit card or to increase the limit, to request an increase on the limits of the cards you already have. So that is a good place to start. Now, you want to make sure that the vehicle is really, really an investment, because cars, their value depreciates so bad that it's just ridiculous. So you want to kind of just weigh out the pros and cons. You want to take into account how much your insurance is going to be, how much gas is going to be, all those things, maintenance and things like that. You want to make sure that it's actually an investment. I understand the frustration that comes with being on public transportation, and sometimes even the uncertainty of it. So I understand that, but just make sure that you are using wisdom when you because if you don't have any credit, if you're not able to pay it for a cash out, you're probably going to get a terrible interest rate right now on a car loan, especially if you don't have any credit. So you don't want to set yourself up. So you want to make sure that you're doing things the right way. Make sure you go ahead and start to establish some type of credit first, then save up some money for the car, and then as much as possible, and then run all your numbers to make sure that is really an investment.
Okay, so she says, I am between buying a house or an apartment, but my research house are more cheaper with the monthly payment than an apartment. I am stuck. So I can answer this question. So your monthly mortgage, if you were to purchase a house, your monthly mortgage 9 times out of 10 will be, depending on price range, will be cheaper than actually renting. The difference between renting and owning is basically you own the property and you're paying the monthly mortgage. With renting, you're just basically paying rent. You don't own anything. You're just paying to rent the actual space. With buying a house, you're owning the actual property. Your name is on the deed. You're paying the monthly mortgage, as well as, of course, interest, taxes, and insurance and things like that that come with owning a property. But you are responsible for repairs to the property that you own. When it comes to renting, the landlord is responsible. Well, depending on what your lease says. In most cases, the landlord is responsible for the repairs of the rental property. But if you are actually owning the property, if you own the property, you are responsible for the repairs. And even when it comes to owning a property, you still want to have money saved up, because there will be unexpected, repairs that happen. There will be emergency repairs that will happen that just come out of nowhere. So, you have to prepare for that as well. So just to give you an idea in regards to that, but we can talk online more in depth if you have more, if you want a more in-depth answer in regards to that, we can talk, offline more in depth. It's just me and my young son, so I was thinking of getting a house. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, so when you get a minute, just reach out to me. We could definitely chat, and I can kind of give you the pros and cons of both. I'm an advocate of home ownership, but it has to make sense. It has to make sense because it's a huge responsibility. So
yeah, I think that every day, I guess as my final tip, I guess would be every day you want to look for ways to save money, even if small amounts. I know that often, and I've been kind of preaching this on my social media and just in my classes in general about how small amounts add up. And I've been able to use my own story of saving $50,000, $1 at a time, like $50,000 in cash, $1 at a time. And so I think that now in the situation that we have been forced in, we realize how much every dollar really does count. And so I want to encourage everyone who sees this, who is watching now, who may even watch this on the playback, to find a way every day to save money. Again, even if it's $3, even if it's $5, even if it's canceling your Hulu, even if it's looking up some coupons or shopping what's on sale and packing your lunch, whatever it is, find small ways every day. We have what we call money moments. We have what we call money moments in our with a lot of my clients, and it's basically just like a check-in where there's an alarm that goes off on their phone that says, this is your money moment time, whatever is comfortable for them, and it kind of just checks the temperature, like how am I doing? How am I doing my progress? What can I do to save a few dollars today? What have I done already? It can be something simple as, listening to a money podcast one day. The next day it could be, revisiting your financial vision board, because I know a lot of us create these, huge goals, especially when it comes to finances at the beginning of the year. And I know a lot of us are feeling discouraged. We had to put it on hold. I saw someone post today, I'm making plans for 2021 because I want to throw 2020 out the window. No, I don't want you to do that. I want to encourage you all to review, revisit, get you some tea, sit back down again, go back to the drawing board. You may have to, move some parts here and there, but still have money goals, still make adjustments where needed. But every day, do something that gets you one step closer to financial freedom. Your definition of financial freedom. Don't let anyone define that for you. I don't even define it for my clients. I let them define their financial freedom, what it is to them and what their dreams and goals are, and we work towards that. And so that's kind of like my leading. I want you all to know, to still be encouraged during this time, but to know that small things add up, okay? And you want to have that emergency fund in place. If you do not have an emergency fund, that's your number one goal. That's your homework assignment. When we get off of here, you need to have at least $1,000 saved, at least $1,000 put aside in a savings account, a separate account that is just for emergencies. And then you can build off of that. But that's your number one goal right now, $1 at a time.
Nice. And just to piggyback off of what you said, 2020, even though it started off crazy, for me, like, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, it's not over. Like, we still got, so I'm an athlete also. So I have like that athletic thing where it's like, all right, started off bad. We still got what? 3 more quarters. We're in the second quarter now. We still got 3 more quarters to play. Like it's not over yet. So I wouldn't say just throw 2020 in the trash entirely. Yes, it's starting off terrible, but like it's still time. We still got time to come back and make it a great year. I know for me, just even what you said, just revisiting goals and making some adjustments. That's what I did earlier today. This virus has thrown my 2020 goals. It just knocked it over. But again, the year not over, and I'm not just going to go ahead and say, oh, and chalk it and plan for 2021. Like, no, we starting from today, and we're going to map out how we going to want the rest of the year to go, and how we want it, how we want 2020 to end. And I think just for everyone that's on this webinar, it's not over. It's not, like, better times are coming. It sucks right now, but it's not over. Like we still got a lot to accomplish. It's stuff that we can still implement, even the tips that Rachel provided. We can implement those tips and it can change our whole life and change our whole 2020. But we gotta believe in it. We gotta believe in the tips. We gotta implement the tips. We gotta do it. And we just gotta believe that it can happen for us. I think that's one thing when it comes to like really trying to accomplish something. It comes down to 3 things in my opinion: receiving the information, doing the information that you receive, and actually believing that it's for you and that you can achieve it. If you don't believe in those 3 things or do those 3 things, it's just not going to happen for you. So I think we have to also, be mentally prepared and with receiving information. I think that's one thing that we're not good with. And I might do a webinar on it. Something that we need to work on, because anything is possible. Again, this whole pandemic sucks right now. We're in quarantine. I don't even know how many days it's been, but it's been too long for me. But like I'm just hopeful. Like I know like the best is still yet to come. So I just hope that everybody is still encouraged. I don't even care if you gotta go and like, I've been working out to kind of keep my sanity. Mm-hmm. But even if you got to go for a walk or go for a run or, whatever it is to help you maintain your sanity and keep you motivated and, keeping your eyes on the prize, and, just doing what needs to be done and implementing the tips, like it's no limit. There's just no limit. So I just hope everybody is encouraged. And if you got questions, put them in the chat. I'm not going to ramble off too much.
But well, even going forward, if you guys have any, questions for me going forward, if you want to reach out to me directly after we get off our webinar, or if you're watching this on the playback, I give out financial tips and a lot of information on my social media pages. So you can follow me on Instagram, peptalks_, on Instagram, and just my first and last name on Facebook, and my website is rachelhannibal.com, RACHAELHANIBLE.com. There you'll find all the information for like my monthly webinars that I have. I do live money chat for kids every month, and just the information for one-on-one. If you need help with prepping to buy a house before you talk to Danielle, you might want to talk to me so we can make sure you have the right house you can afford, how much house you can afford, your credit is all together. So by the time you get to Danielle, you're good. So we work really well together with that, making sure that our people have the home ownership, and like she said, we're advocates for that, but making sure you do it the right way and making sure that you are set for good. And so we a good tag team, so you can look us up. Yes.
But yeah, so I wanted to put this webinar together just to provide, the financial tips and just to give some hope and some insight, so that you can be prepared and, be better prepared for the future. Again, history does repeat itself, so, it will happen again eventually. And it's best to be prepared, it's best to be as prepared as possible, because again, you never know when it's going to happen. So again, this webinar has nothing to do with real estate. I didn't want to talk about real estate at all, but if you do have questions about real estate, of course you can feel free to reach out to me. Absolutely, that's my job, but I just didn't want to touch on this specific webinar due to everything that's going on. But if you do have questions about real estate, you can get with me. My Instagram is Miss Smallwood MS. My last name Smallwood, the number 2, the number 4. I am on Facebook, Danielle J. Smallwood Real Estate. That's my real estate page on Facebook. My personal page is Danielle J. Smallwood. I do have a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. I do videos, and a lot of my videos are on Instagram, Facebook, as well as my YouTube channel. But if you do have any questions, you can go to the link in my bio that's on Instagram and schedule a phone consult, or you can shoot me an email. It's best to email me, honestly, than text me. I respond pretty quickly to email. The text is kind of hard because I'm still doing a bunch of stuff and moving around. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Rachel, as always, much appreciated. I thank you for your time. And thank you for hopping on this webinar and providing these tips. Again, the tips that she provided, please, 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 please implement. I want everybody to be in the best situation financially and a better situation financially. Again, we never know when this is going to happen again, so it's best to be prepared than not be prepared. Any last words, Rachel?
That's it. Be great. I hope that this information and this inspiration has helped you, and I look forward to talking to you all after the webinar is done and being friends on social media. So, but understand that this is temporary. If I did have a last word, it would just be that this is temporary, and that you're a sailor. You're not going to get off the boat. You're not going to jump off the boat. We're just going to figure out a way to become more skilled at what we do, and that's it. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone, for being on. Thank you for receiving the information, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great evening.
See you guys.